Coming up on Kochie's Business Builders, time management tips from a productivity expert. MKR favourite Manu drops by with some business advice, plus marketing lessons for a pub trying to win over the local community. G'day and welcome to another episode of Kochie's Business Builders, where we look at the issues facing small business owners and come up with practical advice and tips to help them succeed. Joining me today as co-host is Kate Christie. Kate is a best-selling author, time management expert and inspirational global speaker. If you want to take the next step in your relationship with time and find out how to design and live your perfect life, well, Kate is the woman to help you. Kate, good to see you again. Welcome to the show.
Lovely to see you. Yeah, thanks, David.
You've been on KBB a number of times.
I have.
But now you've got a new book out called The Life List, Master Every Moment. Now, you talk about lists all the time for time management, but what's a life list?
Look, a life list is the exact opposite of a bucket list. So with bucket lists, they're pretty much a list of what do I want to do before I die? And often they're exclusively built around travel and adventure. And a life list is the exact opposite. So my life list was about everything I want to do while I'm young enough to enjoy it.
How does that apply to business and you're achieving your business goals?
Perfectly, because when it's a business and it's goals around business, there's really three types of life list goals you should be going after. First, the go big goals. The big, audacious, hairy, what do I want my business to look like in 5 years' time? What do I want my products to be? The second goal from a business perspective with the life list is you want go small goals. So lots and lots of small goals that fall outside business as usual.
Right.
The third type of goal from a business is that you want to go now. So you've got to be open to a bit of spontaneity, a little bit of opportunity, have conversations you wouldn't otherwise have. Say yes to some invitations you might not otherwise accept, because there's always going to be growth and learning in that.
Yeah, you've got us all thinking, Kate. Some great thoughts. I can't wait to hear your thoughts on our small business case study today, the Botany View Hotel. General Manager Luke Riemann took over this local Newtown pub just as the pandemic hit. But instead of putting aside his plans, Luke went full steam ahead to create a venue the locals would love. Now that business is returning to normal, Luke's keen to up the ante on the community vibe and get more people through the door. So, Kate, what would be your advice to Luke in terms of connecting with that community?
I think it's really important to go after all the diverse groups within the local community. So don't just sort of put all his eggs in one basket. Segment the business so that he's not catering to just one niche.
Okay, that's really interesting, because in a lot of inner city areas, it's not just interests, it's cultural diversity, the whole thing, isn't it?
Absolutely.
So really focus on that. Some really good thoughts. We'll catch up with Kate again later in the show, but first, let's pop into the Botany View. To help Luke with his issues, we sent brand and marketing expert Samantha Dybac, founder of the PR Hub, over to Newtown to help him hone his plans to become a business that the locals love.
So here we are. Welcome to the Botany View Hotel.
Thanks so much for having me, Luke.
No, it's an absolute pleasure.
Can we start with you telling me a little bit about the history of the pub?
Well, it's one of the oldest pubs in Newtown. It's always had a rich history in live music. Some of the better artists in Sydney have cut their teeth here over the years, and it's just been a real focal point in the community.
And you took the pub over back in 2019. What was it like then?
The pub had gone down a slightly different route to its history. It was more sports orientated, and we just wanted to really make sure that it came back to a proper institution in live music in Sydney.
There must have been something that stood out to you about this venue for you to want to take it over.
My background's always been in revamping and sort of changing the styles of pubs, and this one just stood out as one with such a rich history already in music that we could just take it even further. You
took it over in 2019, just before the pandemic. Can you tell me about some of the biggest challenges that you have faced? Outside the obvious of having to be closed for so long and a lot of the restrictions that were put on, I think every hospitality venue will tell you that it was a real challenge getting through the legalities and the new rules that were implemented and keeping the public happy with that kind of thing. Now that we've come out the other side, I think that's still a little bit of a challenge as well. People have lost that sense of
trust in going out in large groups, and live music obviously is a bit more intimate than what people normally do. So just getting people to relax and enjoy themselves again has been a bit of a challenge.
Can you tell me a little bit about the refurbishment since you took the hotel over?
We weren't splashing big amounts of cash around. We just needed to restructure the way the venue worked. There was always a temporary stage. We've now built this main stage and expanded how many acts and how big of an act we can sort of put on here.
And you've also transformed the upstairs area too.
Yeah, correct. It's a wonderful little garden oasis up there. It's a very different feel to downstairs. We do a lot of DJs into the twilight. Having cocktails in the setting sun is a pretty valuable thing, especially in the urbanised area like this. So it's nice to have a little bit of a change.
I noticed out the front that you've got a sign that says you're dog-friendly too.
Certainly are. On a Sunday afternoon, you can barely get through the pub without tripping over one of our four-legged friends, but it's an intrinsic part of the community. We're so close to Sydney Park. People like to take their dog out for a walk, then have a cold one on the way home.
Coming back to challenges, when you look at right now, what would you say are 2 or the 3 biggest challenges for you?
I think the main problem for us is just getting that word back out into the community. We're really confident with what we've done with the pub, and the artists that we have here speak for themselves. It's just getting the wider community to understand what we've been doing, what we've changed, how the venue now works, and as we did most of that during the lockdown, a lot of people haven't seen that for themselves. So we just need to get the word out there of what we're doing and how we operate.
It's interesting you say that because I hear that quite a bit. So in my business, the PR Hub, we work with entrepreneurs like yourself, brands constantly challenged by how do I get the word out there. So let's go and have a chat and talk about some of those challenges.
Wonderful.
Welcome back to KBB. Now, according to recent research by MYOB, small business owners are in dire need of some help. Skill shortages are impacting businesses everywhere, and it's snowballing into a productivity crisis. When business owners were asked what would best assist them to improve their productivity, 55% of those surveyed said they would like to see more support for upskilling, while 1 in 2 business owners suggested more free tertiary education for in-demand professions would help them offload some of their workload. There was also a call for more opportunities to help women rejoin the workforce after having children. Kate, these are all very sensible ideas. Most of them depend on government funding.
Yeah.
So what would your advice be to a business owner to get these things done themselves?
I think that in times like this where we're looking for funding and the funding may not be there, and if some of these businesses are a little bit tight on P&L, I think it's really important to think productivity and efficiency. So you want your people to be productive. You want them to do more with the same. You want your processes to be efficient. You want to get the same result with less input.
Yep.
So when money's tight, I would be telling these business owners to go after an efficiency model. So look at what processes they can actually make more efficient to drive some costs out of the business.
Okay. Give me one simple time management tip that could help those processes, help staff.
You definitely want to have them documented in the first place, and then after that you need to review them maybe once a quarter to make sure they're as efficient as possible. Have the key players in the room. Maybe you've got a 10-step process. Does step 8 even need to be there? Can we combine steps 1 and 2? And all of a sudden, what might be a process that takes 10 staff 1 hour might take 10 staff half an hour, and you've saved the business 5 hours of cost a week.
Yep. And it's so important to get the buy-in of the staff, isn't
Very
it?
much
They're
so.
at the coalface.
Yeah.
They're understanding what processes work and don't they live it every day.
That's it. And they might be doing the process sequentially steps 1 to 10 because that's the way they've been told to do it. But always they've thought, why are we doing it this way? So listen to your staff, bring those key players into the room. They're the ones that are going to tell you how to make those processes way more efficient.
Really great advice. More advice from Kate a little later on. Stay tuned. ANZ's Paul Presland shares what any small business should know about cash flow.
Want to master cash flow better? You're not alone. It's a pain point for a lot of small businesses, but you can get a better grasp of it. Mastering your cash flow can help you pay bills, maintain good relationships, and take on growth opportunities. Here are 5 tips to help you manage cash flow. Number 1, write a cash flow forecast and regularly check your actuals against that forecast. Cash flow forecast is the most important tool in managing cash flow. It allows you to project how much cash is coming into your business and how much is going out at different times, and helps you to identify potential cash flow shortages. Number 2, separate your business and personal finances. It gives you much greater clarity about your business performance. Number 3, get paid on time. Invoice quickly and offer incentives for fast payment. Number 4, control your expenses and don't overspend. And number 5, manage stock effectively. Don't fall into the trap of holding too much stock. Take control of your business finances by downloading ANZ's cash flow forecast template on our Financially Ready hub. Visit anz.com/financially ready.
From the seas to the trees, we've been searching the nation to find local businesses doing amazing things in our Regional Heroes competition. Kochie's Business Builders has teamed up with Square to shine a light on remarkable regional businesses who are doing great things far from the big smoke. The winner will even get a spot on this show. You sent in your nominations, now we've got our top 5 finalists. Give back to our regional heroes and vote for a winner now at kochiesbusinessbuilders.com.au/regional heroes.
My name is Irene Falcone and I am the founder and CEO of Sans Drinks. I decided that I wanted to drink less alcohol, and I actually went into a bottle shop and I asked them, "Do you have any non-alcoholic wine?" And they looked at me like I was crazy. And I remember that look because that was exactly the same look I got when I started my first business, Nourish Life. I just thought, wow, this is what I need to do. I need to create an environment where people can buy these drinks, enjoy these drinks, and not be embarrassed by them. In fact, really showcase them and make it kind of sexy and uber cool. Sans Drinks is really a bottle shop, but everything in here, beer, wine, spirits, cocktails, you name it, is all alcohol-free. When I first launched the business, I thought I'd be catering to non-drinkers, so people that were sober. But actually, that's not the case at all. This business is really catering for those people who are drinking but want to drink less. You can buy some non-alcoholic drinks in bottle shops now, but really, liquor stores are experts in liquor. They're not experts in non-alc. And you can also buy some non-alcoholic drinks at the supermarket. Again, supermarkets are experts in groceries. If you're trying to reduce the amount of alcohol you're drinking, you made that conscious decision, really a liquor store's the last place you want to go because you just have temptation everywhere. And of course, if you don't drink at all, you're not going into the bottle shop at all. So I guess that's where Sans Drinks has found its niche. It is a safe place that has all of the best stuff, all under one roof, with no temptation of alcohol. The growth plan for now for Sans Drinks is to really expand on the bricks and mortar experience. So we're looking at opening 20 new stores across Australia in the next 5 years and starting with 6 new stores here in New South Wales. So we've got a business that is growing in a category that is growing in an environment where people are able to still shop at bottle shops. My businesses are about customer choice. I'm obsessed with giving customers a new choice and disrupting industries. This gives me so much joy and it's what I love doing, and I just feel Irene again. I feel like I'm Irene when I am building a business and I am working in my business. That's just my own work-life balance.
Are you ready to get back to business? Well, Kochie's Business Builders has all the expert advice you need to set your business up for success in 2023. From marketing to finance to growing your business. If you've got questions, we've got answers. So head to kochiesbusinessbuilders.com.au to subscribe to our newsletter and stay up to date with all the latest small business trends you need to know to succeed.
The best business advice I've ever received: always have an exit plan if the business doesn't go well, but also surround yourself by a good team of people. You're not a one-man band. You don't know everything very well. And if you employ different people that are better than you at other things that you know, it's always the best thing to do. Building the kitchen, for example, buy the equipment that you need straight away, because if you think that you're going to be able to deal with it now and make a bit of money and then spend a little bit more money later on, it's always going to cost so much more. And that's an argument I had with my wife many times. It is a lot of money, but if you spend the money at the beginning, I promise you, it will pay itself back. Do your due diligence, do your business plan, and just follow your passion and don't give up. The first few years is always hard, and then you go over the hump and it starts working again. So just go ahead.
Earlier in this episode, PR brand expert Samantha Dybac dropped by the Botany View Hotel to see how licensee Luke Riemann was going with his quest to become a fixture of the Newtown community. Now Samantha is back to share her top tips to help Luke embed the Botany View as a place the locals can call home.
So Luke, you were telling me earlier that one of your biggest challenges is how do you actually build awareness for this amazing venue? Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
I think the struggle really is, outside of the amazing artists that we get through here doing a lot of promotion for us, obviously in their own self-interest as well, is just getting the community to understand exactly what we're doing in here and how relaxed and what a fun vibe it is. So what do you think is the easiest way for us to just build that awareness for the venue itself?
Yeah, great topic to go through. And, you know, we talked earlier, I obviously work in PR, I've got a business in PR, and we work with people like yourself with the challenge of how do you build awareness. So, you know, one of the things with a community vibe like this is, you know, possibly even looking at creating some short, snackable video content that you can pump out on socials. It doesn't have to be polished either. People don't need polished video content these days. It needs to be genuine. Yep. It needs to be authentic. Your team can talk about the great atmosphere that you have here, like why they like working here.
Yep.
Also grabbing some of your regular customers. I'm sure some of them wouldn't mind getting behind you and having a chat and showcasing what they love about this place.
Well, I think plenty of those customers would jump at the chance to be on camera. I mean, another change we've made is we've revamped our kitchen. We're really proud of the different style of food that we're doing now. And do you have any advice on just how to get the word out there on that as well?
I think that's really interesting that you raised that, because this is a pub, it's an entertainment venue, and you've got an amazing menu that people don't know about. So tapping into some well-known food bloggers, influencers, even hosting an event for those people. Mm-hmm. We did one last week for a client where we had a bit of an industry panel as well, so we made it informative and we made those food bloggers, again, want to come along, try the menu, but also feel like they were getting something out of that as well. Because if you engage the right ones and they're using their social platforms, again, another great way to do it, another form of word of mouth,
yep.
It will really stick.
Yeah, building that customer loyalty, that's always a focus for a business like ours. Is there something we could be doing better there as well?
You've got membership drives and you've got the dogs, you know, the dog-friendly pub, which is great. One of the things that I've noticed about the hospitality industry in the past couple of years, having worked with some businesses in that space, is the innovation from technology and how that's really helping venues, especially post-pandemic and with staff shortages. You know, you've got the QR codes and the order and pay at the tables. Not only is the customer getting what they want, but it's also helping you as a business. And that's something that's really important for you, right? Being profitable. So they're getting a great experience and they're more likely to come back if they know that they can engage like that.
Thanks, Sam. There's some great advice in there, and obviously we've got plenty to think about.
Yeah, look, it's an amazing venue. Thank you so much for having me, and you know where to find me, so if you've ever got a question, make sure you reach out.
Thank you very much.
Kate, some great advice from Samantha there about how Luke could get his customers involved in helping him market the pub on social media. User-generated content can be so authentic. What are some other ways that you reckon Luke could build that connection with the locals?
I think it's really important to segment and tap into the community. So a great way would be, you know, maybe sponsor the best player in the under-10s footy game on the weekend or netball game. And that sort of initiative doesn't cost Luke a lot of money, but it builds a lot of goodwill and it generates a lot of notice. The other thing, you know, maybe Wednesday night, 5 p.m. family dinner, bring in a local magician, pay them $50 to entertain the kids. Parents have a wine and a beer and a meal, everybody's happy. So tap into different segments and different demographics within the market.
Yep. It's a really good pub too, isn't it? Sounds fantastic. Kate, terrific advice. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Good to see you again. And remember, if you're looking for small business tips or the latest news and expert advice, then you can find them all online at kochiesbusinessbuilders.com.au or follow Kochie's Biz on Facebook, LinkedIn, Insta and Twitter. I'll see you next time. Next week on Kochie's Business Builders, the wellness expert who is helping business owners say bye-bye to burnout. Must know marketing tips you'll want to try, plus meet the sisters whose chocolate business is a sweet success.